Hello. Um, okay. So, I've seen a few videos, saying that you have to have dysphoria to be trans. And so I wanted to clear something up and just say that dysphoria is not what makes you trans. Euphoria is. So, to elaborate, dysphoria or gender dysphoria is the feeling of discomfort in your own body. And then there's social gender dysphoria, which is the feeling of being uncomfortable in your own body. That's gender dysphoria. And social dysphoria is the feeling of being uncomfortable, being perceived as the gender you were assigned at birth. Oh, and gender dysphoria is not the same as gender dysmorphia. And gender dysphoria is feeling uncomfortable in your own body because of the gender you were assigned at birth. So, yeah, social dysphoria is like pronouns or like gendering like girl, boy, lady, man, sir, etc. And then your physical dysphoria, pretty sure you would understand but by the definition, but your chest, genitalia, and it could be more than that too, like hips, hair, this big thing, hands maybe, or the amount of body hair you have, yeah, and it could even be smaller things than that too, like maybe the way you walk or your legs or arms. But yeah, anyways. And then euphoria is the feeling of comfort in your own body and like in your gender. It's also called gender congruence. So it could also be the feeling of comfort being called the right pronouns or the right name. Oh, also being called the wrong name is dysphoria. And or being referred to by the right gender, like boy or girl. So that's euphoria. So the part of the gender dysphoria you have to be trans is social dysphoria. You do not have to have physical dysphoria to be trans, because not everyone experiences that, and not everyone is like going through puberty at that point in their life, or maybe they just don't experience that much discomfort with their body, and that's perfectly fine. You're still trans. But you do have to have dysphoria of your pronouns. Well, not necessarily all the time, because you can use multiple sets of pronouns, but like, yeah, but the main thing is euphoria. So feeling comfort in being called something else, or feeling comfort in maybe wearing something else, or being perceived as something else than what you were assigned at birth. So that is just a quick thing to clear up that misconception. Gender congruence is basically the alignment of yourself and like how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself and what you want to be perceived as. So the correct gender. So yeah, that's gender euphoria and gender congruence are interchangeable. But gender dysphoria is typically the physical one, and while social dysphoria is typically the social one, obviously. But anyway, the physical one is typically just said to be gender dysphoria or gender dysphoria as a whole. And also you can just use dysphoria, but most cis people would not know what dysphoria meant unless they have learned about it. Well, cis straight people, I should say. Anyways, so that is the difference between euphoria and dysphoria, and just so you know that if you are feeling like you might be trans, but you've read somewhere that you have to have dysphoria to be trans, don't listen to that, because you have to have euphoria to be trans, and that's all you have to, well, that's what you have to have. You don't base your own identity on someone else's limits and restrictions. And that goes for any identity. And you are what you say you are, but that of course can change, as we all know, because everything is a spectrum, and you might figure out things along the way as you grow older or experience more living your life as you are, and you may learn to start having dysphoria, or you may learn to sort of get over those feelings of dysphoria and figure out that you're actually cis, which is also perfectly okay. That's pretty rare, but it doesn't mean it's any less valid. Yeah. So, just in case you were having those feelings, just know that it's perfectly normal to not have dysphoria and still be trans. And when I say trans, by the way, sorry, I should have said this at the beginning of the video, I mean the umbrella term. So, under the umbrella term of trans, there is binary trans and non-binary trans. Binary means trans woman or trans man, or trans boy or trans girl, if you prefer those. And non-binary is a whole entire umbrella and a spectrum, so it includes a lot of non-binary identities, and that means that you are not exclusively binary, binary being male or female. So, and amongst those identities that are most common, you can identify as non-binary itself, being neither male nor female, as most define it, being agender, having no gender, or being gender fluid, which is switching between male, female, or non-binary, neither man nor woman. So yeah, just to clear that up, when I say trans, I do mean the whole entire trans umbrella, because you are all valid and beautiful beings. Okay, I hope this helped in some way, and yeah. Have a beautiful day or night, and just remember that you are, again, you're valid and you're an amazing person, and you deserve to be comfortable with your identity and label and not have anyone put that down or say that you can't be anything because of a particular limit that they have discovered. Because not everything is true about certain labels or identities, or just things as a whole. So I'd say don't listen to particular people and only them, because sometimes they won't be right, and then you'll end up denying yourself a very long time, such as if you listen to somebody who says you have to have dysphoria to be trans. And that's not good, because it hurts to deny yourself. Okay, I'm sorry. This was long, but I really hope that this helped. And I love you. You're safe here. And you're beautiful. Goodbye.